Good evening. So today we've got a ECU that was sent to me by a gentleman that bought the kit and actually assembled the thing, and he managed to get it working, and since then he's had a couple of problems. So I was asked to have a look at the ECU. So the intent here is I want to record the whole process of repairing it and share with you guys what I find. So what we'll do is we'll swap the camera here so you can see what I've got on the bench. So over here we've got a Megasquirt 2 that the guy bought and built. I left it together, and I did remove the screws, but I haven't opened the box yet, so we can see what's going on inside there. We've got my trusty breakout box, so we can, without having to try and probe on different things, I can just do the test on here. And I got a simulator, or the stimulator on here with a power supply wire right over on the end there. So the idea is we want to have a look and see what's going on. The gentleman that sent it to me mentioned that the fuel pump circuit's not working, and that happens to be this here LED just over here, and hopefully you guys can see that. So what we'll do is we'll get that all fired up and see what we can see, and with a bit of luck you might actually be able to see what's going on here. So I'll just turn it on and we'll see if we get any funkiness going on here. And if I give it a little bit of RPM, what we should see is, oh, alright, okay, so as you can see there, the fuel pump LED did not come on at all. Though the injector ones are working, I don't know if he's hooked up the ignition, and I don't know what the idle circuitry has been set up for inside here. However, this is a little bit concerning because that little LED should be turning on. So the next step I would do in this case is determine whether the ECU is actually thinking to turn it on. And so the way I do that is I'd simply get my cable plugged into the ECU, and we'll get a TuneIt Studio screen going on here. Where do we share screens? There we go. And we will share screen 2. There we go. Okay. And let's use the spotlight thing here. Awesome. So we've got the screen going, and as you can see over here, we've got an RPM signal running away there. So I'll give it a bit more RPM. That certainly seems to be doing its thing. And it looks like the throttle's working. I haven't calibrated any of this. That's intake air temperature. We've got coolant that we can manipulate over there. And down the bottom here, I've changed that indicator to be fuel pump. If I turn the RPM right down to 0, fuel pump turns off. And if I just give it a little bit of RPM, it seems that the fuel pump then comes back on again. Now the other way you can test this is to go up to the Canon test modes, and this only is available for Megasquirt 2 and upwards. And the handy feature here is we can actually then go and start turning it on and off. Let me move things. Oh, maybe not. I might have to just reopen it and see if it shows up on the screen properly. Okay, it doesn't. That's bizarre. There we go. That's what we wanted. All right, and up here you can go and enable test mode. And if we have a look down the bottom right here, and we keep an eye on the LED over there, we'll be able to turn the fuel pump on. And as you can see, the fuel pump comes on, and on the screen what we should see the LED light up, and none of that's lighting up. And we can turn it off. So clearly we've got that as a problem to deal with. So what this tells me is that the microprocessor thinks it's turning it on, but nothing is happening. Right. Well, that's not too bad. What we can do in this case is, let's go and look at the schematics, and I've taken a bit of time here and I've already put some of it up so that we can see what we are dealing with. Is this the one here? No, we want this one here. Right. So these are manuals that's freely available. We can have a look at these circuits beforehand so we can have an idea of what we're dealing with. And if you scroll down to the bottom here somewhere, there we have our fuel pump drive circuit. Now what we can see from here is we have a very simple circuit really at the end of the day. We have got a, this obviously connects to the fuel pump relay, and we can't see that bit because it, from Megasquirt's point of view, this ends in the connector plug. We've got a diode here that's wired in such a way to protect these transistors, and we've got a low side driver transistor, and it looks like we've got a resistor here that helps to pull the input circuit down to ground once the circuit is turned off. So my test would be at this point in time is to test this side of the resistor and make sure that there is a signal coming in and that we've got a signal coming out. The next step would then be we need to determine whether this transistor is working, and that in theory should make the entire circuit work. Right, okay, so let's stop this video here for a minute and let's have a look at what's going on inside the box. Like I said before, I've pulled the screws out, but I haven't actually opened this up here. I'm going to turn the power off so we don't have any power on there. I'm simply going to remove the connector so we can get this out of the way for a minute. And let's remove the connector plug. Let's have a look in here. Okay, right. Already here we can see something is not good. It's not a good sign, Ed. That's not a good sign. And just so you guys know, there's a rather pungent smell of some electrical smoke that has escaped some components. I don't know if you guys can see this, and I'll try and bring it up to a point where you can. We'll get this under the microscope in a minute. Already here I can see something really interesting is going on over here. Right. Right. Okay. So now what we want to know is where are those two transistors for the fuel pump. I'm not going to worry about this one too much at the minute. And the reason for that is that the gentleman wants me to also upgrade this to a Megasquirt 3, and he's got all the gear here, so I could quite easily just take this daughter card out and replace it with the Megasquirt 3. But I'm going to hang on a little bit and just sort out this fuel pump circuit. And once I've done that, we'll look at why that is potentially given up. I see he's got a little bit of circuitry that he's put into the prototyping board here, so we might have to have a look at that as well. Right, I can see that's got some funkiness going on here. It looks like we might have had some trouble with that component over there. Okay, right, so let's go back to that wiring diagram. And before I do that, I'm just going to grab this and put this out of screenshot, and we'll go back to there. We'll share that one. And, okay, right. I just wonder what that component is. Now that component I went all the way to the top, was U4, U1, 2. Nope. I'm looking for U4. Okay, so the U4 component is right. So that's a chip that drives the injectors. You can see there's injector 1 up here, and we've got injector 2 down here. So this is most likely an FET driver chip. He's most likely put that in backwards. That's caused some of the problems. So we were looking for Q2 and Q19. Right, Q2, Q19. Okay, so Q2, Q19, R16 is right there, so that's really good to know. I bet you that that top end is where the signal will come in, because I would have put that resistor around that way. Right, okay, so let's do a little test on that and see if indeed what I'm thinking is happening is the chip. Just, I won't use a breakout box because I don't think we're there yet. So I'll tuck this one up. It's back on here. And then I'll put this so you guys can see it. All right. Use the ground. At this point, we can probably use any ground we like, I reckon. That one there, and this here should be pin 16. So I'll put a decent ground on there for a minute, so we can really get onto it. Just that ground from the power supply unit. That's probably the easiest way. Make sure we've got some power there. Yep, we do. So top of pin resistor 16, and give it a bit of RPM. Okay, so we've definitely got the power coming into those transistors. Let's see if I turn it off over there. There you go, it goes down to the ground. And we know that that's the case because if I share my Megasquirt screen with you, and hopefully this will stay big enough in the screen for you guys to see. So if we keep an eye on that and the voltage, see as the voltage went up, the fuel pump circuit turned on at the bottom. Right, so now I know definitely that we've got a problem right up here. Okay, well that's easy enough to sort out. I don't know if we'll be able to see any damage. That could be a bit of a challenge, that one, I think. What I will do, I disconnect this for a minute again. Let's just see if we use the microphone or the microscope up here. And yes, it's just a little cheap one from the Chinese people. They're great, they give us all the good stuff. We might be able to see what's where we at. Right, I'm gonna swap cameras. Yeah, I think it was this one. Excellent. I'll put a bit of light on the subject here, and let's just get a little bit of the focus on it. Maybe for now I'll start off quite high so we can just work at what we're doing first. look like the components are actually damaged. Okay. What's going on here? Oh, that can't be good. What is this one? That's certainly not a fuel pump circuit. It's gone there. Definitely we have got some smoke that's coming out of that one. Okay. Right. Well, now that I'm a little bit better at this one, I think that one's got a crack through the front as well. Yep, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely got something going on with that one. What could have potentially happened with this bad boy? Now, just so we can have a look. Oh, this is, remember that mark that we saw in the previously? Well, that's it there. It's that's pretty bad on that one. So that chip was definitely a complete dead. Oh my God, poor thing. What happened to you? Okay. Well, that chip's definitely going to have to be replaced. The good news is that the processor up here, that's good. So I reckon I can save that. Definitely think I can save that. All right. Well, maybe what I'll do just first is just take that little bit of shrapnel out of the way there and see if we can just get that. Oh, still attached to the track. Okay, I will leave that. You just stay right there for now. We'll come back to you. I suspect that it just goes from there to one of these pins in anyway, so if we need to, we can just run an air wire across it. You know, that's sorted out in a jiffy. What I am going to do, being that this is the one that I suspect is gone, I'm going to just try and come quite a bit closer so we can just have a really good look at that. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with that one. That doesn't look right at all. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to, I'll probably start off by disassembling this board properly so we can just have a look underneath and see what we need to do in that case of what the plan would be, I think. I'm sort of a little bit, I think that this one actually might still be alright. This Q2 here, but I don't think this one's any good anymore. It does seem to be a little bit loose as well, and that one's definitely not good. So it's quite interesting. I wonder what he did and what that's hooked up to. That there. I'm going to look at this. Let's go and look at the diagram. See what that tells us that component is. That might be the better way to go about that. That was Ecu20. I suspect it's got to do with the idle circuit, if I remember right now. The idle control, at least. So I'm just going to go straight there and have a look at that first. Yes, yep, there you go. See, it's essentially the same circuit when you look at that. So he's obviously used that idle output to drive something that it's not capable of driving, and he's killed both those two N39. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's killed those 450s, the ZTX 450s. Okay. Right, those are pretty big transistors, to be honest. Okay. Oh, there's only one thing yet to do now is I'm going to have to get them out, I think. And we'll swap the camera to the one overhead camera so you can sort of see what I'm up to. And we'll just put this out of the way there. turn that light off there. There's a couple of screws out. Some guys, okay, that's staying there. Let's this one out. No, I actually don't need to. Oh, no, it's halfway out. Let's get it right out. Right, and then we'll just that. That's good. It's oh, okay, right. Well, that's a bit concerning because the ignition circuit was wired and it definitely didn't output anything. So what I'm looking at here is, see if we can make it so you can see it. This wire here was wired to the ignition output. Now I'm not quite sure what his intent was and what he's making that do. I see there's quite a lot of wires here. These yellow ones here quite often is wired up for stepper motor control, which it does look like that is the case. And then we've got this little bit of funky circuitry over here that is, well, that's wired straight up to the option select. That can't be right. That definitely can't be right. So how's he getting his tag signal in? Okay. Right. Yeah, there's definitely something going on in here. Oh. I think that bridge needs to be in there to make it be in Megasquirt 2. Because if you do that with a MS1 chip, it breaks it. Just remove the flyback circuitry. Which I don't think is a good idea, considering what he's got it mounted on. Okay. Anyway, the two transistors we're looking for is these two up here, so they'll be these guys up here somewhere. And definitely those guys up there. So maybe we'll just have a look under that and see if we can see anything interesting. Just where I can see it. Makes it somewhat a little bit easier if I can actually see what I'm looking at. I'm pretty sure it's the first one there. Oh, yeah, I'm not so sure that those connections are right. Oh no, that's all right there. Good flow on them. Even that one there. That one looks all right as well. Okay. So I think the first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll remove those couple of transistors out of there and see where that leads us to. I think I'm pretty sure that when we start pulling them out, we're going to find that yeah, that one's definitely had a hemorrhage up there. You can see the damage up there. Yeah, when I scrape it, it's definitely showing signs of much unhappiness. Okay, so how do we go about getting this out? Well, lots of guys use various techniques. I just use a soldering iron, a bit of solder wick, to tell you the truth. Right, let's get the right tip in there. This tip. Oh yeah, she's nice and big. Right, well that chip's on anyway, it's toasted, so we won't worry about doing damage to it. Solder. While the soldering iron is getting itself ready for action, just see if we can clear up this image nicely for you guys. I think that's pretty much as good as it's going to get. Let's see. Good. Right. This stuff is great. I don't know how I've ever worked without it. With a little bit of trickery, I might be able to just try and work around these wires this way. See if we carefully put this in there. Just use the edge of the soldering iron there. We might be able to pull that solder straight into the wick there. Bit of luck, we'll actually get it out without destroying anything. You know, it's obviously the game all the time. Looks like those two pins are loose. Put a bit of pressure on it and see what happens. I reckon there's a little bit of solder still stuck on there. Let's see what happens. Yeah, now we're talking. Look at that. That's much looser. I'm just applying a little bit of pressure on it. We should be able to just about give that a yank out. Looks like we might have there's one that's still a bit sticky on it. Right. So if you're wondering what I'm pushing it with, this is a this is an antenna that I've just took to with a bench grinder, and it's stainless steel, so solder doesn't really stick to it, and it gives you the opportunity to just give stuff a little bit of a manipulation to come through. I think while I'm at it, I'm going to attack that second one, this one up here, this one, and remove that one as well, because we know that that one's damaged. Oh, yeah, right. Choose this one here. Right. Again, we're just going to put a little bit of solder on it. And this just makes it flow nice and easy. And do your trick. Let's see, it's got most of it out. Well, there's probably a little bit of stubborn in there. Yes, I know the tip I'm using is too big. Being that those transistors are gone, I'm not really worried about saving them, to tell you the truth. Take this from the other end. But I like we can get that last little bit of solder to come out. Just so you guys know, I'm not a trained electronics repair person. I'm a hobbyist that sort of just like giving things a go, and turned out that I'm not too bad on it. So yeah, here we go. I'm fixing some of these things these days and thoroughly enjoying myself. I think it's something that everybody should give a go, you know. Come on. Alright, so it seems like this one's going to play hardball with us today. Alright, we'll try just resoldering it, and a bit more solder on it, and hopefully it will play games. Let's see. Let's try again. Sometimes you just need to give it another go. We've got another plan if we need to. We'll, okay, I think we're just going to have to cut it out. I'll just remove the pins. Okay. That's not a problem. Just do a little bit of manipulation on here. So all I've done is I'll just basically grab the long nose pair of pliers and give it a little bit of a bit of a wiggle on there. What we'll do now is, rather than trying to boil them, because the other thing that you can do is you can also damage the circuit board by just putting too much heat on it. So let's not do that, eh? That's not good. But apparently left hand is not as good as right hand, so maybe we'll swap hands. Try and do it so you guys can see. Okay, there we go. There you go. Out you go. And the last one, which is going to be a little bit. Oh, looks like it wants to go through. Okay, that's fine. You can go through. That's okay. Whatever works for you. I see it's right close to the top, isn't it? Okay, right. So that should get all of that out. Here we go. It's all out. Yeah, so like I was saying, I don't do this. Well, I lie. I fix quite a few ECUs, but I'm self-taught, and I've been doing it for nearly 10 years now. So I think I have an idea of what I'm doing, particularly around the Megasquirt stuff. I've built a number of them. So we'll definitely have to get a couple of components, and hopefully I have them, and we should be able to fix those two bits, and then we'll try and work out what is done underneath here, because that'll be quite interesting. Yeah, so I'm going to pause the video here, and then what I'll do is I'll just stitch them all together so that it all makes sense at the end. Right, so when we left off, I had removed 2 transistors, and the transistors that I removed was make this work. There we go. Was the 2 on here. So what we'll do is where's the thing I'm looking for? There it is. So I removed Q20 and Q19. Now, in the grand scheme of things, these transistors' function is to try and keep the circuit low until that voltage comes up. So it looks like it's a little bit of a balancing act on here on this. However, I think that these Q2 and Q4 are the ones that's really at fault, and those are the ones that I need to get to. Now, I'm saying, since I've removed 19 and 20, I can actually get to 4 and 2. So I'll go and remove those when they're not very expensive transistors. So I just think it'd probably be worthwhile to replace all 4 of them in the grand scheme of things. So what I'll do is I'll swap the camera again so that you guys can see what I'm up to. This one. With a bit of luck, it will change. Right, let's put it on the screen so that I can see what I'm looking at. And there we go. We can see now. Turn the light on a little bit so we can see. There we go. That's heaps better. So obviously this here is Q2, and as you can see, it was quite obscured by Q19 before. So we'll remove Q2 and Q4, and then what we can do is we can actually test that circuitry and make sure that this is all working. As you can remember before, none of these 2 responded. I'm quite confident that that's the problem, considering what I have seen this guy has done. So So we'll start off at the bottom again. This is going to be one of them, and the other one's up here, and we'll quickly whiz those guys out. I have been warming, the soldering iron has still been warm from before. Now the other technique some people use is they just simply grab it on both ends and then just go to town, just yank it out. I'm going to try and remove the solder here. I like to take them out so that I can test them, but it's not always possible. See if we can hit it from the other side as well. Maybe we'll just turn it around here. Where are we? We are there, right. Let's see, will you come out? Definitely pushing on that, so maybe with a bit of luck, just warm all the pins up and we might be able to just push it down. Sometimes these things can be a little bit of a challenge, to be honest. Ultimately, the last resort is just to simply be a bit rough with them. I don't like to do that. Let's see, maybe if we just put a little bit of flux on that, it may help the solder wick to do the job. This stuff always smells quite funky when you use it. Come on, let's get all of that solder on there. Come on. Let's see. Yeah, we've definitely got something loose. It's going to fight me, this one, I think. What I'm doing is I'm just applying a little bit of pressure on it while I'm warming the pins up so I can just get it to start moving. I'm trying to pull on the right one, doesn't it? There we go. It's almost out. The problem with doing it this way is that sometimes you pull the pad right off. And that's why I don't like doing that. You can see this is the one that we've been warming up and working on. So I'm going to try and just warm them up and push them through. I might have to keep on doing the other technique I was using on these little ones. It looks like it's just going to be quite difficult to get this one out. Okay, you can see there it's still sitting in there. Get it on the screen for you. Where are we? This one I've been trying to get out. And what's happening is that it's now joined itself at the bottom there. So we're going to try grab it from the top. And just try and work it out that way. And you can see there it is. It's out. So one more to remove, and good news is we didn't destroy anything. So I'll have a go at this last one over here. And I've already put some solder wick on it, so with a bit of luck it will come out a little bit easier. Okay. Let's see if this one wants to play game. There we go. Oh, that focus has gone a bit off. Let's see if we can fix it. There we go. So we definitely got some cleaning there. Let's see if we just tweak these over a little bit this way. Maybe we need to come in from that side and see if we can get a little bit more out. If not, we might have to just put a bit more solder on it. See if that will. See, the thing is that we don't know is we don't know what solder the gentleman used when he built this. So maybe we just need to get a little bit crazy with that. And see how that pulls it out. And that looks a lot better. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try and push down on him again and see if we can just get it to go down. Oh, there we did. Excellent. All of them seems to have gone down. Again, we're going to see if we can just grab it from the top and give it a little bit of warmage up on the bottom. Sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't work. Come on. There we go. There, excellent. Right, so we'll do a little bit of cleaning on this. And then we can progress with some testing. We'll just, maybe I'll do the cleaning on the bottom first, I think. But this is quite an easy process for me. I just put a bit of flux on there. And then what I'll do is I'll use a solder wick. I'm just going to run it over those pads and just clean them up as best we can before we start looking at testing and things like that. You're amazed at how much this stuff picks up. Okay, that can actually work. We do the same on the top, and we'll just be able to get the last little bit of junk out of the way here. Some of you would say to me, why did I go straight for the transistors? Well, I think I know what's happened to the circuit, and it would most likely be a case that the guy wired it wrong, and because he wired it wrong, he's managed to damage these components. This is most likely the most likely cause of quite often stuff that I see. A little bit of also cleaning there. Excellent, and we'll do the same at the bottom so we can get rid of all of that flux there, and then we can do some testing on this and confirm what we're thinking. I'll show you what I've just cleaned. See, we've just cleaned that, so now see that pad there is a little bit damaged. And we did do a little bit of damage on them. Mind you, had to be pretty rough to get them out, in all honesty. Now that is why I quite often leave the legs up a little bit. I don't put the transistors all the way down, because if you need to sometimes pull them out, then you need to be able to get to it. That's actually just fine. We can work with that. Once it's soldered, that will work up nicely. Same with this one. I'll push it just back down again. Q-tip. Let's see if we can push it back down again. There we go. Move all of that junk. Okay. Right, so the next step, and I won't start this tonight, I'll start it tomorrow, is what I'll do is we'll then spend a bit of time, test all of those couple of circuits there, and be sure that we know what we're actually trying to achieve in there. I just see that there's quite a lot of dirt on this. Yes, I didn't stick it through the ultrasonic bath beforehand, only because I wanted to see what was wrong first. Got a little bit ahead of myself here, I think. Okay. Right, see the guy has coated the board with something that protects it, and that's fine. We just need to get rid of all of that, which we'll do. And this looks right. I think we haven't damaged anything there. Gorgeous. Right, let's just dry that up a little bit. See what's going on. Perfect. Got a testing tomorrow, and then we'll know what we're going to do. I actually don't have replacement transistors for those in stock, so I might still have to order them and see when they turn up. But although I think I could probably replace them with some other ones that have got very similar values, and we'll go from there. until tomorrow.